We want to talk to AJ DeAndrea, retired Deputy Chief of Police for Arvada. And AJ, you have intimate knowledge of all of this. This is kind of your expertise. Tell us what you're thinking about right now, and where do we all need to be thinking?
First and foremost, my heart is heavy for everyone up there, for the victims, for the family members, for the community, for the state, for the country. Here we are once again, walking through one of those. And so, you ask, where should we be maybe as a community? We need to take care of one another, check in on those people. These things affect us in so many different ways, right? Check in on your loved ones, check in on your friends. Let's try not to, jump to conclusions on what's going on. Let's let the facts come out. It's a big scene up there, I would imagine. But right now, we just need to ground each other and kind of take care of one another until we can try to figure out, some of the facts of what actually happened.
AJ, I know you have lived in this community. You understand all the things that we have seen over time. And when we talk about law enforcement and the response and how these things are handled now, a lot has changed for the good.
Yes, without question, right? And those things are perpetually evolving. I responded to Columbine. I was a breacher that day, but ended up being a team leader, took a team through the center part of the building on the first sweep. And when you look at how that response was to where we are now in 2025, it's vastly different. A lot of lessons, hard lessons. I was actually in two other school shootings, a Platte Canyon High School in 06 and then Youth with a Mission in 07. And in that time period, they've changed. And since the last one that I was involved in, you can see that, not just law enforcement tactics, but now our firefighters with Rescue Task Force and how they're deploying, the preparation for the schools, all the drills that they do, and then just the community as a whole, the things that are done. So vastly different. There's been a lot of hard lessons learned, but we are in a much better place in 2025 than we were when we go back to Columbine in 1999.
I'm glad you pointed out all of that and the changes that have been made. Also, I think of you and all those first responders, because the life-lasting trauma of seeing this or experiencing this, it really trickles through everybody. We think about first responders and teachers and students, and it's important that we think about getting past it as well. Not past it and forgetting it, but coping with it and getting the proper mental support.
Without question. These things, they stay with us. And for those that might be struggling a little bit tonight, reach out, get some help. There's all kinds of help that is out there. All you have to do is ask. But yeah, these, the first responders, they have to live with what they saw, what they went through today. And that compounds itself. Personally, for me, and I'm just going to say this, my daughter's up there, right? She works for Jeffco Public School. And, for me being at Columbine to having my oldest daughter who's up there now, who actually survived an active shooting in 2018 at Thousand Oaks, California at the Borderline Bar and Grill, these things stay with you. My hope is that as the mud starts to settle and the water clears, we can look at this a little more analytically with no emotion, and we can figure out what lessons need to be learned from this one so that we can continue to be progressive and prepare for the next one, and maybe handle that even a little bit more efficiently. Not to say that this one wasn't handled appropriately. The facts aren't out. We don't know what went on, but that's the hope, that we can learn and, go forward.
AJ, thank you for sharing, because it's so sobering. Your own daughter has experienced not one, but two active shooter situations. That's a reality of, so many people in our country.
Unfortunately, it is, right? They are still rare when you look at, the totality of the crime and things that can happen in this country. They are rare, but they do happen. And, my message to those that are listening is we shouldn't live in fear. We should have an understanding that these things happen, and there's things that we can do to prepare. Having the conversation, I was listening, right conversation with your children age appropriately, right conversation with your family members, right conversation with your coworkers. There are programs out there that we know are successful that if one of these events were to happen and you were in proximity of it, there's things that we know you can do to help stay alive. And so, you hope that people are having those conversations. And again, right now it's emotional, right? There's a lot of emotion in the community. There's a lot of emotion in this country with everything going on. We can tamp that down a little bit, though, and be a little bit more analytical. And again, there's lessons to be learned and things that we can do to progress and prepare.
I know you teach people how to prepare and be safe, but thank you for your words today. You really understand what so many people are going through. Thank you, AJ.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you for the opportunity.